when I was doing the YouTube videos back in when YouTube came out initially, I was very strong-headed and anti-religion and anti-spirituality and all this sort of thing. It takes time, For some people, it takes a lot longer than others. So that's where I'm at now. I'm really comfortable with it.
By the way, I should probably do a little bit of a disclaimer for my audience. On my channel, I've always tried to be fair towards those who believe in God. I mean, I know you do that on your same channel as well. I think that a fundamental belief in God can be rational. It's a topic that's hard to find much balance out there on YouTube. So yeah, just to be perfectly clear, both of us don't want to psychologize God belief. We don't want to denigrate it. But at the same time, what I think you and I could discuss is that a fundamental unbelief can be perfectly rational too. And what has persuaded you to generally reject theism or deism?
The rejection of theism is, I never, when I discovered that the witnesses weren't the truth, I didn't necessarily want to go down any other path that involved God. I sort of threw God out completely with the witnesses, the whole idea of religion, which I know a lot of people don't do. They will go to another source of God because they can't let that whole idea go. I didn't. I just became a fundamental atheist. Although I've got to say to you, I've always believed in the power of prayer. I mean, I've read a lot of books, especially when I was young. I was fortunate enough to do that as well, to have the nous to go out there and help myself in terms of self-help books and things like that. And there was one book in particular by a guy called Joseph Murphy, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, which helped me a great deal. I've read it so many times, and it helped me to understand that the whole concept of prayer and how it does work. So people who believe in God and pray to God, I don't diss that at all. I think that absolutely works, but I think understanding how it works in reality with the conscious and subconscious mind and how they relate with each other, understanding that helps the prayer. It becomes much more powerful. And you get what you ask for much easier if you understand that notion rather than thinking that you're praying to Allah or Jehovah. Although those things work, they pretty much, it doesn't matter whether it's Allah, Jehovah, or a can of paint that you believe in. It's the degree of belief that you have in that thing that is powerful. And, it's about visualization and imagining as clearly as you can what you want. At certain times of the day, prayer is more effective before you go to sleep when your mind's in that sort of spongy state. So I definitely get religion. I get how people hold on to the idea of God. But I just see it more as a scientific thing, a psychological thing, which is equally as spiritual, if you like, as
Sure.
what people undergo as religious people. I've had some amazing experiences, even on like LSD and DMT and mushrooms, man. It's like some really full-on experiences that are hard to sort of just discount as they're just a drug-induced state. Serendipity is another thing as well, which I think a lot of people dismiss as coincidence too often. But yeah, the power of prayer, man, that's the thing that I'll never really, I'll always have that, and understanding how it works. Sometimes you've got to refresh, of course, and go back to these books and remind yourself of how simple and easy it really is to bring things into fruition for yourself. And I do that often. I often reflect on that. But it works, man, and it's really easy. It's so simple. It's pretty much just, I see the conscious mind as the captain of the ship, and then the crew are in the subconscious, and the captain just tells them what to do, and they go ahead and do it, whether it be good or bad, negative or positive. Whatever you give that, whatever task you give that, it will make happen. So
Yeah.
it's a real thing, and it's a spiritual thing. I would consider that to be spiritual. That's how I had my spirituality.
I've read that book too, by Joseph Murphy. It was very profound, wasn't it? And it's kind of different than how we, I don't want to say traditionally, but how we think about prayer in our modern age and everything. We tend to think of prayer as just hitting your knees and supplicating and begging. And
Yeah,
there's so much more to it than that. Hey,
most definitely.
what would you say is the central part about prayer that actually gets results?
Well, treating it as an easy thing, you know, treating it as easy as what it is, and that is just simply pondering on what you really want to come into fruition, and just making that a little bit of a focus, making it, you know, to begin with, it was making whatever. If I really wanted to get what I wanted, I'd just make it my dominant thought all the time, whatever it was, just constantly think about it all the time and get it as clear as possible in my mind's eye. And sure enough, before I even considered any of the mechanisms of how it was going to happen, it was happening.
Yeah.
It's a matter of asking or telling it, if you like, you know. In a nice way, you just tell yourself, this is what I want, this is what I need, make it happen, because the answer to things is out there. It is the answer to pretty much everything is out there. What I liked about that book was it used scripture and translated scripture rather than heaven and hell to be like the conscious and subconscious mind and how they interact. And some of the parables that Jesus used were, he would translate into more of a psychological way of looking at it. And that really gelled with me. I recommend anyone. I mean, it's an old book. I think it was written in the 70s, but it's a really helpful book for anyone who really wants to sort of is at a point where they're kind of lost about things. It helped me, and I know it's helped many others. So I recommend that one.
Yeah, me too. It's a fantastic book. And it's tying this back sort of into atheism. You for those of you tuning in, I mean, you're hearing this stuff from atheists, that prayer can be a really profound power in your life. Uh Now there's kind of the flip side of atheism that you know we often see that people who are atheists are just like, the world is entropy, it's all going down. uh you're born into a losing battle, as Christopher Hitchens would say, right? But does atheism necessarily lead to a depressing or nihilistic outlook, in your opinion?
Not necessarily, no. I can see what you're saying, and I've sort of gone that path myself of nihilism, if you like it. It's easy to do, it really is. But having a good balance and understanding that there is a lot to life that some people would call supernatural or spiritual, um, coupled with the bland idea that there is no reason for living or no meaning in life. It's about sort of blending that with the idea of there not really being a specific purpose for people, but there doesn't have to be. But you can make this life a really, really enjoyable one if you have that open mind and understand the way we work as humans. We're really, really incredible. We really are, and that the power that we have is not even unleashed yet. I think in years to come, it'll probably it will come to a point where religion will no longer exist, and we will be our own gods. What was the question, man? I tend to go off a little bit on my
Oh, yeah,
topic.
I think you answered that, and it was it's true. I was asking about how does it necessarily lead to a nihilistic point
That's
of
right.
view?
Yeah.
And
No,
sorry, continue there. Go ahead.
it doesn't necessarily. No. So in short, in answer to that, it doesn't necessarily, but it can do.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that completely because I've sort of toyed with that a little bit as well. But No, atheism can be really healthy. I mean, look at the likes of Matt Delahunty. He's probably one of the most strong-headed atheists that I know of, and I know that guy lives a good life. He lives a happy life.
Oh, sure he does.
Yeah, it is just the way he addresses and looks at life. It can be a real blessing, and it can be a curse. Just depends on how you want to deal with it.
And I think that your channel does such a good job of taking the real beneficial things of more so spirituality than religion, and combining that with a view that doesn't mean that it's all purposeless, unless there's a God at the bottom of it. You know what I
That's
mean?
right. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. So and that takes time. I mean, I was when I was doing the YouTube videos back in when YouTube came out initially, I was very strong-headed and anti-religion and anti-spirituality and all this sort of thing. It takes time, For some people, it takes a lot longer than others. So that's where I'm at now. I'm really comfortable with it. I really think I've got an understanding that suits me and helps me. It's not wishy-washy so much anymore. It's pretty much, I understand what works for me, and I can embrace atheism with spirituality, most definitely. The girl that you interviewed, I don't have a name handy, but I'm sure you know the really pretty one. But
Lily Evans,
who goes into quantum mechanics and that sort of stuff. She was really helpful as well, like the way she looks at things, and people like that who have their wits about them when they sort of can be atheist and still look at things the way look at spirituality in not so much the God way, the way the Bible's written or whatever, but in the way of the things in nature and life and the way it all works. That was really helpful for me as well.
Hey guys, did you like this video? You know what to do. And if something I mentioned today resonated with you, click one of them cards on this screen. I have lots of related content sure to interest you. Thanks as always for your views, and we'll see you next time.